I haven't been on here in a while. Sometimes I put a shorty up here. I get, honestly, I get better response on TikTok. Now, this one belongs here, not there, because it's going to be long compared to there. This involves the sycophants of old orange piece of shit. Yeah. Now, a lot of them are turning quote. Great. That's great. Now, the usefulness of this is not so great. There's pros and cons. The cons, I'll give you first, then we'll go to the pros. The cons are these guys still believe in his policies. They still believe in the GOP policies, which basically are designed to rip us off and put money from our pockets into theirs. Now, by theirs, I mean the 10%, but it's only a portion of that. It's basically the 1%. That's what this is all about. This is all about thievery on a grand scale. Right. What do they call it? Kleptocracy. That's what we got going on here, right? Now, if you look at all the facts related to the scumbag in chief, what you find, like, look at this Iran thing. It's all about the oil. Look at the promises that this no good bastard, no good son of a bitch. God, this is a denigration of those names because he's worse than that. This is all a scam to make oil companies a lot of money. Yeah, a lot of goddamn money. And that's what they do. They make a lot of goddamn money. Yeah, and he promised to help them make money in his campaign. And you bastards didn't listen to it. I'll tell you why. Because you're more worried about the money you pay for gas. And I don't blame you for that. I don't drive much and I hate driving and I don't like this whole petrodollar bullshit scam that's been going on for way too long. This shit needs to be cut. Cut out. We need to get away from this permanently. I mean, there's countries in Europe that are already doing this. Oh, boy. And they alienate all your allies so the goddamn oil companies can make the money. Now he talks about, we're going to make some we. Who's the fucking we here? Right? Who's the we here? The we is him, his sycophants, and the 1%. It's not you and me in the 90%. Well, I used to be in the 10%, but, I made some mistakes and, okay, whatever. The we. The we. No. He's all about the kleptocracy. That's what it's about. This whole goddamn thing with the oil thing. Our oil. No, it's not our oil. What we did was give the oil companies license to pump the oil, refine it, and sell it back to us and all over the world. It's our natural resource, not theirs. It's a natural resource of the American people, not Trump. God, why is this prick still alive? Yeah, man. I hope your intention is the prick dies in his sleep. But you know what? Look at who he's got in the cabinet. They're all a bunch of useless, opportunistic sycophants. Now, to get back to the original thread here. Now, the original thread here has to do with the people who've turned their face. Well, great. Okay, the big con here is they still believe in those policies, like I said before. The policies are what has to go. And because of that, we don't want these people because we don't have parliamentary government here. We can't form a coalition based on the issues that works. You got a two-party system. The Democrats are gigantic tent. Gigantic with a lot of factions. Too many corporatists. These sons of bitches need to be kicked out by the election process. Kicked out, gone, ignored. The other problem is that there's too much money in politics that comes from corporate sources. Yeah, we're not interested in that shit. No. Now, the small donors, okay, they gave Trump a lot of money. That's great. They gave Bernie a lot of money. And so what happened with the whole Bernie thing? The whole Bernie thing got co-opted by Trump. He started promising some of the key things that people wanted from Bernie's agenda. And of course, he lied. Like he always does. The son of a bitch has been lying forever. I mean, the first term, over 30,000 lies, inconsistencies, exaggerations. Come on. And you guys that voted for him didn't look at that because you don't care about that. All you cared about, and I don't blame you for this, is the price of gas at the pump, which was going down under the last administration. Things were working. But you guys got a big hard on. Well, no, you got nervous. You started shitting your pants because everything didn't deliver right away. Well, he took 4 years to screw things up. 4 years were not going to be enough to fix it. These are long-term fixes. What am I? Am I like on a bus of bozos here? It seems like I am. Squeeze the wheeze, honk honk. No. The whole thing is a huge grift, and thankfully a lot of you aren't buying into it. But let me tell you this. These sycophants that have turned face, they're not going to change on the policy issues. They're not going to change on universal health care. Now, that's free health care. You get it, I paid for Medicare for however long we had to pay for it out of our paychecks. Yeah, so now I reap the benefits of it, which are not bad. Luckily, I have a supplemental which covers the rest. And then these goddamn corporate medical groups, they try to overcharge you beyond what Medicare and the supplement pays, which you're not responsible for. This shit's got to go. These companies have to go. Medicare Advantage, got to go. Needs to be universal health care. And that's what everybody really wants. Well, you're not going to get it. Why? Because of corporate lobbies. The AMA has been against this stuff forever. They're probably the worst lobby against universal health care. Because they don't get paid as much. Oh, I'm so sorry, Dr. Ripoff. I'm so sorry. Yeah. No, I'm not sorry. You guys, to me, are no different now. I was trained as a biologist. And, I helped get a lot of you assholes into med school. Not a problem. I was glad to do it. I did. I helped. I like doing it. But let me tell you something. To me, most of these doctors, not all of them, there's some really good ones who are compassionate, who really know their science. Most of these doctors are in it for two reasons. One, they like doing it, and two, the bucks, man. Because when you do it right, you get the bucks. That's right. And you know what? I'm against it. No. To me, you're no different than an auto mechanic. Now, there's two types of auto mechanics. There's the ones that charge too much, and then there's the ones who are fair. Think about the analogy I just made. Anyway, so there's a big con to the whole thing. There's a big contrary to the whole thing. None of these guys want universal health care. No. None of these guys want an expansion of Social Security. No, they want to get rid of it. Regardless of the whole we don't like Trump anymore stuff. Yeah, it doesn't mean shit. Because they're always going to be in that camp. So don't vote for them. No, piss on them. Now, the pro on that is, yeah, they're going against him. But are they going to sign off on his impeachment and conviction by the Senate? Are they going to use the Fourth Amendment to get rid of the whole goddamn thieving criminal cabinet? Are they? No. They still adhere to the same goddamn GOP bullshit that's been ripping us off. Oh, FDR warned us about this, man. I wasn't alive then, but I mean, it's on. You can watch it on YouTube. He talked about the people who were against him and how he welcomed that. He welcomed their opposition. And he fought them tooth and nail until the poor bastard died. Then they got the haberdasher. Piece of shit. They got rid of the one guy, and you know who he was if you read your history. Yeah, good old Henry. He got rid of that bastard, and he was the best guy of all. He was better than FDR. FDR had to cave in on some deals, like you always do in this process, and this is the big problem. Two parties. No. And we don't have parliamentary. No, we don't have the coalitions. that could actually change the course of our history, our economics, the whole thing. But most of you are scared to death of that. Oh my God, it's socialism. Oh my. What the hell do you care as long as you get taken care of? What do you care as long as you've got extra money to spend? What the hell do you care as long as you can go to the pump and the gas is affordable? No, you don't care. I understand. I was in that camp for 40 years. Not anymore. No, I care about you. I care about your affordability. And let me tell you this. These goddamn sons of bitches that tell you that they're leftists, and you know who they are. Jenk and Anna, eat corn out of Trump's shit. Why don't you? You're going along with MTG because MTG, parted with Trump. Well, I'm glad she's out of Congress. Now they elected somebody else in her district, another shithead. Okay. There's a whole slew of them. The Bulwark people, they're nice people. They mean well. They still are conservatives. They still want small government. Look, you got a big country. Small government's not going to work in a big country because what happens? People with the money in the power continue to rip off people who don't have money and power. If you got a little bit of money, they're going to steal it from you. If you give them power, they're going to use that power to continue to grift the entire deal. Yeah. Okay, so there's a huge con. This is why I don't go for all this crap. Oh, they're against the Iran war. Well, hell, anybody with common sense who read the real story is against the frickin' Iran war, just like they were against the Vietnam War eventually. Just like they were against the whole Iraq and Afghanistan debacles. We got conned into that. Well, I didn't get conned. I've been against those wars forever today. Yeah. Yeah, at first in the Vietnam. Okay, so let's go back into the Wayback Machine for a second. Hang on a second. Okay, back in the Wayback Machine. Back to the Vietnam era. Back in the mid-60s. I went along with it because I believed in the domino effect. Yeah, that once Vietnam fell, the rest of Southeast Asia would fall, blah, 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 blah. And of course, Ho Chi Minh, he had a communist party. He was backed by the Russians and the Chinese to some extent. But you know what? Best thing that ever happened to Vietnam? You guys that are anti-communist, you're going to hate me for this? I don't give a fuck. I welcome your opposition, you pieces of shit. So what happened? Vietnam's in a better position now than they have been since the goddamn imperialist exploitation of their country. Right. They make a lot of stuff. We buy it. It imports and exports. Now, so right there, when we got the true facts, because what did we kill? Over 1 million of them? And Goldwater, when he was totally whacked out, like Trump has now gone beyond, Goldwater wanted to nuke Hanoi, and he wanted to blow up all the dams and flood everything and kill everybody. And then somehow his relatives and other people got to him. In fact, he was part of the team that went in and told Nixon to resign or he was going to get impeached, convicted, and put in jail. I think that was a mistake. And then Ford comes along, tripping his way. He was hilarious. I actually thought he was okay. Oh, my God. I actually thought. No, I didn't vote in those elections back then. I was too far to the left to participate in what I considered to be total nonsense. But I thought Ford was okay because he'd been the Speaker of the House. He was a moderate, blah, blah. He pardoned that goddamn Nixon. Nixon should have been convicted and hung in the public square. Rhetorically, at least. And he was. And he spent his last years drunk. Which I don't give a shit. It killed him. Whatever he did killed him. Just like LBJ smoked himself to death. He was a bad smoker. That didn't help old Jumbo out, did it? Anyway, so that was the origin of the debacles, the whole Tonkin Gulf thing, and the Vietnam War. Okay, so I turned on that. Now, I began to read a lot of leftist literature, real literature. Now, I read about the debacle in Russia, the Soviet Union. Okay, and and you had Trotsky, I was a Trotskyite in the SDS. Yeah, I was. I really went along with that. And, Marx, contrary to popular misconceptions, was an economist. Marx was not a politician. He got politicized. Okay, so the Russian debacle in the Soviet Union was that Stalin came in power, turned it into a total authoritarian dictatorship, and killed millions and millions and millions of people. Total criminal, no good bastard. Okay? Mao was worse. Okay? Okay, so things have changed a lot. You have to look at the engines of change. To me, they're not leftists. They were authoritarians. I don't think, in my view, in my opinion, hard to be a leftist with authoritarianism. It's too tough. It's too goddamn hard. Okay? So this is where I depart. Now, back to the other people that claim they're leftists, trying to engage with these MTGs, with these other, with no good fucker Carlson, right? Yeah, with a whole slew of, Dave Smith. Dave, I'm going to tell you something. When you were a toddler, I was a libertarian in the original conception of it. Boy, my mistake. Because what happened? It turned far right. And most of the libertarians today have gone away from the original platform, which was no borders. Now, boy, have people gone away from that one, huh? And I still kind of believe in that because you know what? The whole immigration thing has been used as a political ploy to get everybody all upset and freaked out. It's mostly a bunch of old fucks that don't get out of their goddamn chairs. Yeah, mostly. And then there's all the idiot neo-fascist pieces of shit. They go, oh yeah, the Muslim terrorists were coming and we saw their prayer rugs on the border. Well, what have they done lately? Nothing. The terrorism in the country has been, by and large, by right-wing American homegrown neo-fascist scum. Yeah. So getting back to all these sycophants that have turned on Trump, great. We don't have a real coalition. And what I'm really concerned about is these pieces of shit getting into the Democratic Party and tainting it. And once again, a new group of neo-fascist corporate Democrats. Corporatists. Yeah. Once again, a bunch of goddamn pieces of shit. No, we don't need to join them. Great. Okay, are you going to help us get Trump out? Are you going to help us get the GOP completely out? Great. Are they going to do that? Okay, so we'll take them for that. But then the coalition ends right there because they're not on our train. They're not on our policy train. They don't want universal health care. They don't want an expansion of Social Security. They don't want to cut the DOD budget. Come on, $1 trillion DOD budget and they failed 6 audits? No! And add another $500 billion to it? No! And support Israel and give Israel money? No! Now that may have turned, now that is useful ploy. But once again, don't get me wrong. On a good day, they can be useful idiots. Really, they're going to try to go back to that small government conservative policy, which, look at this fact. What is it, 10 out of 11 or 11 out of 12 of the last recessions? All under Republican administrations. Then the Democrats come in, not necessarily their defense, but also just a point here, and try to fix it or fix it. When Clinton came in, he acquiesced to that piece of shit, Newt. Oh, God, what a piece of shit that guy is. Still is. He gets on Fox News. You know what? Word salads. Him and who's that other bastard? Excuse me. The other guy, I forgot his name. The Bush guy, the big policy wonker. But you got people like Alex Jones turning now. Alex Jones, a criminal idiot. A guy who was beaten in a big lawsuit, who really does deserve to have everything taken from him. He does deserve that. He's a crook. He's a no good, crazy bastard. Maybe he needs to be institutionalized and rehabbed. Well, you're not going to rehab him. You didn't rehab Rush. And I was glad when Rush went into the great beyond, because that's where the son of a bitch belonged. And people believed in this guy. They thought his shit was real. Well, some of it was. The nicknames were cool. Suitcase Willie, Calypso Louie. Oh, those were great. Great. Now, so if you're anti-Israel, some people will try, if you're anti-IDF, if you're anti-Zionist, okay? I'm not anti-Israel. I don't like it. They should, in my opinion, Israel should not be, a neo-fascist state, which it's evolved into on a political, governmental level. Yeah, no, it should have been an all-inclusive nation where the Palestinians are equal, where everybody else that's a minority. I don't know if the Palestinians were really a minority, though. I mean, when a country pushes you out of 700 of your well-established villages, which may have been around for millennia, and says, you have a historical, biblical right? No, you don't. Most of that crap in the Bible is bullshit. The Old Testament. And then you've got these guys now, they're sucking up to a bunch of warlike book, Joshua. What was that? Deuteronomy? I forget. I don't remember all these guys. Because the Old Testament is really, really, really bad. Yeah. Not very humane. Well, with the exception of Proverbs and some of the Psalms and all this. And you know what? No Moses, no Solomon, probably. No David, most likely. At the most, maybe a mountain chieftain. Keep going. No Jesus, probably. I got to quit using that creamer. There's something in it that I have an allergy to. Now, I'm pointing a finger at you, but what I really mean is peace. Okay, so here's the big pro. Most of these scum that are flipping, right? And they're flip-flopped. That's what's going on. They are going with the peace thing. Now, the peace thing comes from isolationism, though, on most of them, like MTG. America first. Well, that's bullshit. Yeah, America is first. Unfortunately, it's caused a lot of people around the world and a lot of our people who are not in the 10% big problems. So that's a bunch of bullshit. And it's also an old ideological slogan from the 30s when you had the Nazis in their big rallies. What was the one at Madison Square Garden? And now the Madison Square Garden is a big rallying point, right? Big fucking rallying point. Or WWE, another corporatist, neo-fascist, piece of shit, publicly traded corporation. Where where Trump was a big guy on there when Vince was around. Used to come and do stuff with Vince, and that was supposed to be funny. Now it's TKO, and you've got that other group of scumbags over at UFC. Trump is a big UFC fan. Dana White, goes and visits with him. Dana White, oh boy. Boy, I wish if I was 40 years younger, I'd train and I'd go beat that prick's face into the ground. He's a no-good bastard also. And now Rogan is flipped. Oh, God. God, Rogan, are you really that stupid? Are you really? No, I think Rogan's been all about the money and having podcasts that are an hour and a half too long. Yeah. No, I don't like Rogan. I never liked Rogan. You know what? My haircut is more original than his. Yeah. I went bald when that sumbitch was a toddler. Never liked him. Still don't like him. Don't care if he's flipped. I don't really care. Unless we can get something out of these guys that fits the platform that most of us want, they're useless to us except to get rid of Trump and his administration. Okay, so what's this going to do? This is going to get a lot of people who voted for these assholes last time. It's going to get them to vote in Democrats. As long as we vote in Democrats who go with our policy agenda. Now you can go read Cenk Uygur's book. He's got it all in there. I'm not going to repeat it to you. It's all in there. Go read it. I don't mind. I don't mind giving him a kudo over that. I don't mind, giving him a promotion on that. No, it's a good book. Unfortunately, Cenk has turned into a fat turd. Yeah, and Anna. Oh, Anna, I feel bad for you because of what happened to you, and you're a really sharp person, and you do some great analysis, and joining with these assholes like Tucker, like MTG, Dave Smith, no, 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 no. You can join with the peace agenda, with the anti-war agenda, but the rest of the agendas, they don't work. No, and that's what they're... Now, this allows them to infiltrate the Democratic Party and turn it a little bit more conservative. We don't want that. I don't want them in there. We need to use them just to get the votes. And we need to get progressive candidates elected. That's what we have to have. That's the pro. The pro is use them to get the votes, use them to get progressive Democrats or populists. I hate that word. You know what that makes me think of? Huey P. Long, the Kingfish. You go look that bastard up. Yeah, you go look him up. Okay, he had good points and bad points. No, the populist thing is just it's a slogan to pull people in, and Cenk and Anna, that's what they're using. Not in. No. Now, I know that the progressive term became a dirty word. So we can change that, but not populist. Maybe we need to change that to this is the agenda, this is the platform the people want. Then you take the, oh my God, it's socialism out of it. Well, we got about 3% socialism in the country now. So the shithead in chief goes in, he has that muskrat, who's another sumbitch that needs to have his assets seized, kicked out of the country. Yeah. No. I'm glad that Tesla has been failing. Yeah, I hope it completely fails. Peter Thiel had enough brains to kick him out of PayPal, and now Peter Thiel is just as bad as Musk. Probably always was. Yeah. PayPal, despicable organization. Yeah. Synchrony Bank, who aligns with them on the credit cards, despicable. We can go down the list. This is a long list that takes hours. So, I want to encourage you, if you watch this, I hope more of you do, please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. If you watch this, I want you to read up. Please, do your reading. There's a wide source. You can get Ground News. I endorse them also. You can get a wide variety of sources on every issue. You get center, right, left. Then you can see what a lot of different opinions are, how different sources report. Yes. You don't need to be a Marxist, and, Marx had value, has some values, and I can't claim to be a Marxist. Some of the things I like come from Marx. Some of the things I don't like come from Marx. I am more along the lines of the worker co-op. And I'm going to tell you this. Democracy at Work, Richard Wolff. Watch him. Watch Michael Hudson. Two great Marxist economists. Yeah. Now, Richard Wolff extols the virtues of worker co-ops. We need more and more and more of them. And if corporations were really worth a shit, they'd convert to be worker co-ops. They'd leave the shareholders, and they would give them the same share or maybe a bigger share, but the workers would make all that CEO money. They'd make all that C-level and D-level money that these guys are getting and the profit sharing and everything else. The workers need to get that money. Now, worker became a dirty word. So what did your scumbag in chief do? Comes in and fires and fires and fires and fires and puts in idiots who can't find their ass with a flashlight at midday. No. This is my rant for the day. These people who are flipping are wolves in sheep's clothing. And if you don't know that, if you don't think so, Read up on them. They haven't changed their agenda. Yes, they want peace. Well, gosh, it takes common sense to want peace, doesn't it? I want peace. You want peace. We don't want war in Iran. We don't want $1 billion a day going out the window for something that's not going to benefit the 90% of us. No. No. In fact, all this money that's going to be made on this is going to oil. Meanwhile, the world economy is going to hell in a handbasket in a heartbeat. And we are part of a global economy, not an America-only economy. Let's get it straight, everybody. Watch these people. You know what? I got a rhetorical 35 feet per second muzzle velocity rhetorical bullet for these pricks. And we need to take them out rhetorically. We need to take them out at the ballot box. We need to get them out of our government at every level. City, state, county, federal, they need to be out. Have a great Thursday. Concentrate on the best things for you and me and everybody.